Zeeman Crater is an impact crater on the far side of the moon near the lunar South Pole. The crater is approximately 184 kilometers across. That's just over 114 miles. But the agencies may be hiding something from the people that might be in the crater. A rectangular structure that could be the size of a city. This week, the Jackalopes will explore the Zeeman Crater and other moon structures. I'm Floyd Whiting.
I'm Steve.
I'm not sure who I am.
He's somebody.
He's not Steve.
Yeah.
And I'm not Steve. I'm Aaron.
And we are your Jackalopes. We're four friends who sit around, talk about conspiracy theories, ghostly phenomena, and the odd. This week, we decided to pick the Zeeman Crater because there are some images out there that you can jump on your computer or your phone and check out that seem to be a little fuzzy for no particular reason. Well, from what I hear, a bunch of people got together and they did a little bit of image forensics and tried the enhance, right? Yeah, the classic enhance. And when they removed these supposed alleged filters, what they found was a very large reticular type of object that was sitting down there that would be city size, whatever city that might be. The only thing I could find was city size.
Floyd, picture this.
I'm picturing.
On the far side of the moon, in the Zeeman Crater, lies a massive facility built into the rim, levels upon levels of terracing, huge rectangular bays, all hidden from Earth's view. Perhaps an alien manufacturing hub?
Perhaps.
Or a moon-based facility where they were shipping and constructing out of sight? The giant crater provides natural shielding. The structure appeared in old 1960s imagery, but to your point, but seems to have been vanished or blurred in later maps.
So it's the old photos that people are looking at.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because they're saying the old original photos, this thing, and there's a picture of
Here, I'll
it.
let you here, maybe I can grab it.
Get to the Zeeman.
I'm not a lefty. I got my left hand on this. You use your
Does it
right hand.
actually, just real quick, does it actually give information on
Which one is it called?
It is Anomaly.
which satellite or...
So if you yeah, that's it. There
Wow.
it is. So that's the old photo, right? It isn't there anymore. It's kind of like the face on Mars, right? Where you're like, it's a face. And then in new imagery, you're like, it just looks like a pile of crap.
I
Like,
can tell you that this doesn't happen naturally.
that does not happen.
No, see, that looks
naturally.
like either like it's hard to tell how big it is, but that crater's large.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
114
like
114 miles across.
So it's like an entry port for where
See, and so a lot of people were saying that's either, so you can see it's terraced up and there's that giant opening in the top.
yeah, it's like a rectangular opening with rounded edges.
And then other people are saying that's how you get into Spaceship Moon.
That's how you
Or out.
That's how your like round disc object
Yes.
UFO flies in.
that's where when you're shooting the missiles, that's where they need to go in.
Well, I mean, if you really look at that, and of course, it's very hard to try and figure out any kind of size or scale to that. But if that were an opening, that would be an opening
They said like 5 miles across.
5 miles across.
So
That's
pretty sizable.
That's pretty substantial. Like, what would you need a hole that big for?
Giant motherships.
Yeah.
Giant. It would have to be.
3i Atlas.
It's not an exhaust port.
It's it's none of the
It's where you drop off your
smaller
supplies.
yeah, right.
UFOs that we've
No.
seen or caught here on Earth on video or the government
No, this is
supposedly has.
the big boy area.
Now,
And of course, on the far side
Yes.
of the moon.
Yeah.
Not visible
'Cause-
directly from Earth.
Right.
Now, inside the crater are many craterlets that actually dot the floor. There's the low central rise that is offset from the midpoint, and I do believe that is supposed to be the remarkable mountain that they call it quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Informally called Zeeman Mons.
Yep.
Yes.
Because this thing rises 24,500 feet above the crater's floor. That is humongous. That's
It's
substantial.
super huge. And
Yeah.
the crazy part about it is, like, scientists cannot
I've got one of it.
figure out how that was even formed. They're like, there's no natural formation reason for this thing to be there with how the crater is and where it sits and
There it
everything
is.
else.
Yes,
It's just, it makes no sense.
Because of it-
Scientifically, geologically, no one can give you an explanation as to what that thing is.
Before we go too far off into the Tules, it is something that we haven't studied a whole lot. First off, far side of the moon.
Far side of the moon.
Secondly, the way that the moon has been protecting Earth forever. I mean, its gravitational pull has prevented how many asteroids, meteors from
You can see
Lots
each
of
and every
falling
one of
surface.
them.
yeah. and that's it exactly. Like when you see these things dotted up there, I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of the moon and a couple of the different purposes that it solves.
It's like our big brother taking the hits on the playground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jupiter even more so. I mean, Jupiter has managed to kind of suck all these little things in throughout times past.
Yep.
That would have made it here to Earth or Mars or other planets and made significant impacts, but it kind of saves us. So the moon kind of serves that little purpose as well. Now, one thing that we did point out in Spaceship Moon, another program, go back and watch that if you're interested. Isn't one side of the moon like heavily cratered and the other side not so much so?
Yeah, it is. And what's kind of odd is there is a pretty distinct difference between the side we can see and the side that we can't.
Right.
There's a mark and like makeup and craters and a lot of differences between the two of them.
Now, how much, and maybe you know this, Steve, maybe you don't, how much do we actually know about the far side of the moon?
Not much. I mean, we've sent things to orbit around it, and we've had a couple of satellite images taken from pretty far away, but other than that,
Not much.
Really not much.
Because the only people that have really, I mean, if you believe that we went to the moon, whatever. Some of the guys that had to, circle in the orbiter saw it.
Yep.
But now the Chinese are up there, right? China is up there.
Yeah.
But you think they're going to share anything?
Absolutely
Probably
not.
No.
Yeah, no way.
So they're probably like camped out in this thing, having like snacks with the aliens, and they're never going to say a word.
well, the thing about it is it's a great place to do stuff that you don't want to be seen doing.
There is no
Because-
better place.
Because there's no way anyone from Earth can see it.
And when a satellite does pass by, you'll know when.
Yeah. And you can't get radio waves or anything because the moon's in the way. And it's always away from us. So, yeah, perfect place to hide stuff.
So even if I wanted to transmit anything without Earth knowing, the dark side of the moon would be the best way to do
Yeah,
that.
no radio frequencies or anything can get through that.
You literally cannot hear me when I'm screaming into space from that side of the moon.
No.
Right.
And that was part of the problem with the Apollo missions was when he went behind, it was 7 or 14 minutes until he could come back into radio contact.
Yeah.
And reports from people that did that were left on the orbiter said there was no more alone feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere.
That's
with
terrifying.
no
Yeah.
communication. Something goes wrong,
Completely isolated.
you're done.
And they wouldn't know until you came out
right.
the other side.
Yep.
Or if it
anything.
didn't come back.
if you crashed.
3-Eye Atlas.
Which is something else that kind of fascinates me. Yeah, one thing that I'm going to tell listeners suggest to listeners is be sure that the imagery that you're looking at online of 3-Eye Atlas is actually coming from a respectable and credible source.
Are there
because-
any?
buddy?
Yeah, how do you
name
define
one.
that? How do you define that?
I would say the best thing that we can actually go off of would be independent studies
100%.
that are happening. Because, like, if I were to sit here and tell you, do I trust anything that the government is telling me anymore? I just don't. Because you're going to keep anything reserved that could cause like a panic or anything like that, which, look, rightfully so. I get it.
I get it.
But at the same time, there's the individuals who would like the facts. And I think the independent sources and maybe even some organizations out there that are doing their best to try and get that information to you, that's who I go to. Because I see images of this thing all the time. And they're like,
if you
"Oh,
see
clear
images
image."
that are boring or just a dot moving in the sky,
Those are real.
Those are probably
That's
real.
probably real.
Probably real.
Yeah.
If you see one with like nanobots coming out of the backside of it,
Yeah.
Or it's got like all these
Probably not.
fins on it. And
Yeah,
it's all
I've seen
jagged.
some
You're
really
like,
great ones, man. Yeah, there's some out there that I'm pretty sure were inspired by the movie Tron. Where you're like, you're not even trying. You're not even trying. Now, the anomalies that are on the moon are actually pretty fascinating, though. It is difficult to sit here and say that these things won't form naturally, because it's not like we understand a lot of geological things happening in a zero or light gravity atmosphere. A lot of different things could happen. A lot of different, I think scientists, I think it was back in the 90s, actually put forward and said, look, 2 or 3 generations, maybe not even that much, down the line of living in a zero gravity environment, you would not look human.
right.
You would look like an alien.
That's where Greys came from.
Maybe
Yep.
some people believe that's actually true. So the idea that we could sit here and look at some of these structures that we're going to look at, to include the Zeeman crater, and say, well, I know that couldn't have formed.
Right.
We don't know that.
Right.
We don't know that.
But it is very anomalous.
It is very anomalous, and I would totally agree
And
with you.
it's slightly pareidolia. You look at it and you're like, it's a factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to
okay.
make something out of the shape,
Right.
right?
But I don't discount that it might be.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
how
at
do
the
you
same
know?
time, you've got to look at some of these shapes.
at least the images here that we're seeing, at least they have one light source. We know this probably isn't from a studio.
Yeah.
They figured out how to do the studio lighting
Yeah.
correctly this time.
One light
Yeah.
source, the sun.
And a pretty large, bright one, apparently. Yeah.
Now, it was UFO researcher Scott C. Waring, who operates a website, UFO Sightings Daily. From what I found, he's the one who's made the claim that involves the moon's Zeeman crater. Waring accused both the U.S. government and Google of concealing evidence after discovering what he described as the strange reticular formation in the lunar imagery available from Google Earth. I know a lot of people jump on Google to find weird stuff all the time around the world. You can actually do it with, I think it's called Google Moon.
It
isn't
is.
it? They've
It's
got-
Google Earth. You can switch to the moon
To
view.
the moon view.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so you can look over.
But
it.
again,
Well, and here's the
can
thing.
you
yeah.
trust it?
Yeah.
On the Earth one, you can hit the little time slider and look
Right.
at older images. On the moon one, you can't do that. It's always just the most current image, which doesn't have that structure in it.
Right.
But even Google Earth, there's some stuff that's been blurred out
Yes.
really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Certain aircraft that are on the ground that people don't want you to see.
Yep.
It's been blurred out.
And
just
I
a shadow.
imagine there's big
certain
blank
regions.
spots.
Yeah.
There
right?
are.
Like
Yeah.
if someone were to, and who hasn't done this, hover over Area 51 on Google Earth just to
Right.
see what you
Yeah.
can see, right? And you see nothing.
Yeah.
For some reason, that area is really low resolution.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
scanned.
And so is Antarctica. Too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Even during the global war on terrorism, when I got home, I was trying to show my family where I was in Iraq. And it's a central operating base kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. That's where we like to build our stuff. So we got plenty of flat land that you got to run across to get to us. But I tried to zoom in to kind of say, hey, this is where we stayed and this is the building.
No.
There was a square blur over top the entire base. And so
Yep.
all I could really do was say, well, I was in that region.
I was in the
This
blur.
is where I was. I was in that blur. That's right. I don't know if it's still there, but, the government protects their own, which I completely understand.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I was somewhere down inside.
Yeah, because
the
you can
blur.
look at it, then so can anyone else.
So can anyone else. And so that, security is a factor. And this is something that I have said on this show that has upset some folks. That's, if I was in charge, there are things that I wouldn't tell the American people. Just number one, do you need to know? Is it an issue that your needing to know would inflict, serious holes in national security or anything like that. And so when I'm doing things like this, when I'm looking through and I'm finding some of this information, yeah, I get upset that why did they conceal this? But then at the same time, you're like, well, I can, in certain situations, I can see why. I can kind of get it. Yeah. Now, there are also claims that NASA and other agencies have suppressed or even completely avoid any discussion regarding, all these structures that are on the moon, because there's more than one. It's not
a bunch.
just the rectangular thing in the Zeeman crater. The Blair Cuspids is one. It's arranged spires on the moon. Now,
or as I like to call them, moon obelisks.
well, and
actually, I have a photo entitled "Obelisk on the Moon" that gives a really good example of this thing. If you zoom in,
and some of these,
that might not be it.
some of these are quite
perhaps
large.
No, here, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
I just can't read. That's
it's overrated.
there we go.
Look at that sucker.
Now,
Jetting up out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
you really got to ask yourself, how did that form? How would that
there's no natural explanation for that, right? I mean,
So
I'm not saying it's aliens, but
So some of the theories behind this are, right? Like impact of a comet or meteor or whatever hits, and there's a pool of liquid magma under there that shoots up and immediately hardens because of the lack of atmosphere and cold temperatures and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make an obelisk,
no.
right?
I don't think there is magma in the moon.
There's certain things.
I think that's
where,
up
like,
to
the
debate.
wall-
I don't think we really know. I mean,
I don't either, and I think because it's a spaceship, that's completely alien made, or it's an antenna that they're like, well, just put it in the crater, nobody will see that.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it, and now how do you explain that thing?
So if we look at, let's call them class 3 or class 4 civilizations. Let's say if they did find us, we're going to go with the assumption that they had nothing to do with our development. They just wanted to observe.
Sure.
What a great place to actually build a base and observe from.
Tow it here.
Again, another thing on a spaceship moon. But we also have to look at how the Earth and life itself has evolved with the moon in mind. With the moon, the
Tides and everything.
Tides. If we didn't have the moon, I don't think we'd have tides at all. I don't think
There'd
the
be no
gravitational-
surfing.
None. I don't think a lot
Lame.
of people understand that the Earth is basically just a mud ball kind of spinning inside this,
Yeah, there's two bulges
water
of
bubble,
water.
two bulges of water that are there
And the
constantly.
Earth rotates through them.
And that's kind of amazing to really think about, look at it that
A lot
way.
of people don't understand that the tides aren't going in and out this way.
Right.
The
They-
Earth is spinning around
We're
it.
going into and out
Yeah.
of the tide.
They stay in the same orientation compared
Yeah.
to the moon, and the Earth rotates through them. Yeah.
The best way that I could describe it, there used to be these little balls. It was kind of a ball inside of a ball that had liquid over top
liquid,
of
yeah.
it. And that's kind of exactly what it is, except the liquid inside the ball is just stuck at two central points. And so you can just spin that thing and there's your tides. That's
Very
what
much
a tide is.
the firmament.
Yeah.
But my point to that whole little bit right there is life evolved, with the tides in mind.
From having
Life,
that thing up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Migrations of certain species are based on the moon and as far as we know, could have been the gravitational pull of the moon could tell birds which way to go.
Sure.
They're not literally sitting there with a map going, well, the moon says we got to go this way. They just feel something.
Yeah,
they
they know
feel it and they know it. So I think the moon has been there for the majority of the time that life has been on our planet.
But even that's still a blip in the whole history of the Earth.
Absolutely
Yeah.
is. It
But you
absolutely
see
is.
things like this, and you can't help though but wonder, where did that come from?
Yeah.
How did that form? Was it there as a rock formation covered, and then it got uncovered by.
Yeah, see, there's
something?
no erosion. There's no weather.
Right.
There you go. That's where the pinch comes in, right? Like it eroded how?
Yeah.
if you could give me an explanation as to how it eroded, then maybe I'd buy into it a little bit more.
There is one theory that they knew man at that point was just cave people. And they're like, hey, if they ever get off this rock and come to the next rock, which is the moon, we'll leave this here for them so they know about their history.
Right.
We just haven't been there to find.
We picked the wrong landing spot.
Yeah.
Or the right landing spot.
Well, we did like intentionally avoid the large rills in the Apollo missions.
Yes.
I stayed away from all that stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
and there's conspiracy theories out there that A, we never went.
Right.
B, they went there specifically to meet with the aliens that were on the surface, and we knew they were on the surface. I've heard all kinds of stories up and down the gambit.
I actually like my favorite is we did go and we were asked not to come back.
Well, and there's if you watch the video of the interview post, I guess you'd call deployment, post moon landing.
Right.
All the astronauts are very, very odd. They basically said, look, they were so exhausted and all they wanted to do was kind of get to their quarantine and rest. And then a news press, release thing kind of got dumped on them. You need to go meet with the press right now, but they hadn't gotten any rest at the time. But I will admit that when I watched that interview, it was odd.
Yeah. They're very cagey. They're not just tired.
They're cagey.
They're choosing what they have to say very wisely.
They're playing everything so close to the chest that's where I started to think, oh, geez, what if something is true that we don't know? And these were literally the best of the best of the best when it came to what America had to put forward.
And we were in a race with Russia.
Yeah. And these guys, when you look at their faces, there's not one of them that I would say was dishonest.
Right.
Not one.
Well, these guys were all test pilots. They worked their way up through those ranks.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they weren't maybe used to the media blitz.
Right.
But I think they had to know by that point that, hey, you're going to be famous.
Oh,
and,
yeah, absolutely.
And get prepared for it.
And not just in the United States. You put a foot on the moon, man.
But now we have the technology to go back, and possibly right now
we
in the
don't.
We
government.
lost that technology.
Well, we lost the technology.
Which still makes no sense to me.
But now we are possibly defunding NASA and then axing the whole thing.
It's going to be up to
Space Force.
or Elon.
But
Yeah,
why
it's
do
going to be
we?
a privately funded
Yeah.
thing.
Why do we have a space force?
Again, that's another.
I mean, there was that guy in Alaska who was a whistleblower. He's on a military site in the Antarctic, and he was like, "We have people already."
Yeah.
And he was like, and then he was also on the news, and he was like, "Hey, we already have people in space.
we're really excited to
There's
have
already
people." Yep.
Lieutenant, what's his name? I mean,
Yeah, and then
Never
all of a sudden
mind.
he was like,
Never
is
mind.
this thing on?
Got a kind of glitch.
can we edit that? And he goes, "No, this is live."
So in another photo, you'll see like Alien Tower. Yeah, Alien Tower. So this thing, again, explain that.
What are we looking at?
The Alien Tower. So that's a crater, and that thing's sticking up to
Oh,
what they
here.
to what they're saying could be a height of 15 stories. Come on,
Yeah.
that's pretty size.
The only way I can see that is there, that the tower would ever be there like that, is if a comet came in tower-like and just
stuck.
stabbed in there.
It's just a
And now
flagpole
it's
that's been out there for a billion years, and it's like
Someone's playing darts and it hit the moon. Now it's
See,
just
and
stuck.
there's something that there's a reason all craters are round, because it doesn't really matter what angle the stuff comes in
Right.
at. It explodes when it impacts, and the explosion is circular. So having something that's not round is really unusual. And having it like at any other, unless it's a really shallow angle. Yeah, I don't see how that would.
I think they can't hide this from us for much longer.
I do believe this is the shard. some call it the Mile High Spire. Basically, this was taken from a lunar orbiter. The colossal vertical tower that casts an extremely long shadow. Now, what they say about it, the official word is the image artifact, viewing angle, contrast, it all creates the spire-like illusion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that because you have no context, and a long dark area could look like a shadow, even though it's just a long dark area. And if you look here, there is a stitching seam right next to that, and another one over
They're
here.
hiding something.
Yeah,
obviously.
So there's like some sort of compositing or something going on there.
Again, interesting that somebody has sat down with this photo,
Right.
and altered it in some way. Why would you alter it?
To put two photos together, maybe, possibly.
And that's
Or
one
to
thing that
hide
they do
stitching.
say.
Lots of things.
You know, NASA said, look, we take a lot of images. We look at tens of thousands of images, and then we try to build one solid image off of a bunch of little small ones.
Because some of these are really old, and the resolution wasn't that great.
No, and these were all taken from a relatively low altitude above that with analog video.
Yeah.
That you had to stitch together, and of course all the
freeze frame it.
Yeah, the distortion, the perspective, and stuff all comes into play there.
Now, what if it's completely abandoned? What if whatever they were using these structures of the moon for?
It was built for the 18-something World's Fair,
Yeah.
and just or maybe a Universal Fair, a Lunar Fair.
Lunar Fair.
I think this was an AM radio tower.
Yeah, it's just been abandoned. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
wonder.
Well,
Could be.
it makes you wonder because a lot of these things say like the natural bridge. A lot of people say that this is proof of engineering. This is an arched feature that was imaged by LRO, and people are saying that it must have been constructed. We don't know that for sure. I've seen images of this thing, and if you want the truth, it looks like a worm going over a canyon. It's an arch. We've seen arches form before, but that's because of wind, erosion.
Yeah.
Serious years and years.
There's no atmosphere.
Yeah, of sand beating against sandstone.
Right.
If you've never been to Zion National Park, I would say go there. It's absolutely amazing. But again, when you have no atmosphere, that doesn't seem like a plausible
Solar wind.
result. Well, we have to ask ourselves, how much do solar winds actually do? Over the course of, say, 6 billion years?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Could it have some sort of eroding quality to it that we
Well,
don't understand?
I don't know. But if you go to, there's one other image in here, and thank God they put, what did I call it? Spire, maybe? See the red arrow.
Yes,
Thank God.
I love. Yeah,
For the red
otherwise I
arrow.
wouldn't
We
have seen
love
it.
a red arrow.
So check out that shadow though.
Yeah, compared to
I mean,
the others around it.
Is that just a dark streak of lunar material? I don't think so.
No,
No,
it's
that's a
definitely
shadow.
casting light.
Yeah, look at the
Yeah.
angle of the shadow compared to the others. It matches.
Look how tall that is.
Yeah.
It's ginormous. So this might be the shard. I'm not sure.
Where is it again? Oh yeah, right there.
Yes. Perfect. Thank God. We should have put a circle around it
We
as well.
should've-
I love those videos. But that is a big shadow.
yeah.
A very big shadow. And I'm sure somebody could be like, well, I know that crater measures, whatever, 300 feet across. So we can, do a little mathematics and figure out how big that is. But it looks big.
I think someone's actually looked at that, and that may be the Mile High Spire that I was talking about before, not the other
It's
one.
certainly a lot higher than the craters around it.
Yeah.
It came in so slow, the comet did, that it just kind of like, didn't explode. There's not much of a crater around it.
Yeah. No.
No.
No,
But
that's-
that's the other
yeah.
kind of creepy part is you're like, if it's casting a shadow that big and there's no impact crater, that is highly anomalous.
And the only other thing it could be would be like a large gouge out of the surface, but that doesn't fit with any of the other terrain either.
No.
No, you would see something
And the shadow angles are the same, which
like a built-up piles of material because that material
Right, along
from
the
the
sides of
gouge
it.
isn't
Yeah.
gonna just disappear. It has to go somewhere.
Yeah, it wouldn't just carve out. It would leave stuff on
Or
the
if
side.
you really look at it, if you zoom into it, it's almost crescent shaped. Maybe it's a UFO that came sliding in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I would actually just say that is a shadow.
It looks like a shadow for sure. Yeah.
And from the look of the craters around it, I would have to say that is not just large. That's humongous.
It's enormous,
That
yeah.
is enormous.
It's a towering feature.
If we look at all the other shadows, they are all heading that direction. So yeah, this looks to be correct.
Now,
The craters do look a little odd though, like their shape. So I wonder if the lighting angle is a little misleading, possibly.
Those
on
are
that.
space peach rings.
well, that's
Right. Yeah.
nice.
that's what they tell us about the face on Mars as well. Is it's just the way that the sun was hitting it.
Yeah,
and-
pareidolia,
and
the
you
angle of
kicked
the sun.
in and you started looking for something.
I really like the theory, though, like, hey, if they get off their rock and onto this one, we're going to leave them a little something. Get to Mars. Hey, here's a big face. Like,
Yeah. But now you have technology. If you find this, now you can traverse the stars using this technology here.
right.
So, I mean, I think it's fair to assume that at least 50% of the individuals sitting here right now definitely believe in extraterrestrial life. Whether this extraterrestrial life, because of certain testimony before Congress lately, came from another dimension or from somewhere out in the stars, no matter how you look at it, if you buy into the UFO theories, then they have the capability of going to Mars, of going to the moon, like it's nothing.
Yeah,
It's
wherever
just a
they
hop,
wanna go.
skip, and a jump from here. I mean, it's a 5-minute trip for them. So why wouldn't you, if you had the technology throughout countless ages, explore, possibly build these structures or monoliths or something on these planets and moons? There's a lot of weird stuff going on Mars, and I don't think we're getting all the information
No.
that I feel that we should be getting.
no.
And the idea that we possibly even came from Mars, that was the original Earth, and there's something happened, and so we were somehow relocated here on Earth, has crossed my mind in the past. How would we know?
You wouldn't.
Right. Yeah.
Like we've talked about before, you don't know anything. It's what they tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's you couldn't live there. It's uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Is it? Like, I don't know that.
Well, and even if it is now, that doesn't mean it always was.
Right.
Now, this conspiracy about structures on the moon goes back a long way, with individuals who have put, I would dare say, their lives at risk to make sure that these images that we're looking at actually got out. I'm not going to say any names, but you can look them up. And I just wanted to throw credit their way, because when all of this structures on the moon talk first began, long before the internet was a thing, long before you could just leak it out to the public, there was even an individual who approached certain leadership at NASA and said, look, you can release them or I can.
Right.
I've got certain negatives. So I'm going to just dump them all over a city, and we'll see where the situation goes from there. I don't know. I didn't bother looking up to see just exactly what NASA had officially released in the past. I just know that they have doctored a lot of photos.
Just cut and paste those craters. It's fine.
Well, they say it's faked because it has to be. So what
Right.
does that mean?
What does that mean?
Because you can interpret that a couple different ways.
Yes.
Like what?
Well, you can say, well, because of the way they're made, stitching all these images together, and because the distortion in the lenses and stuff, the angles aren't going to line up. So you got to fake it because of that. Or you're faking it because you have to.
Because you've
conceal
never
certain-
been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conceal things or make things up or.
What would be the ultimate outcome, in your opinion, if suddenly they came forward and said, look, all the structures are real. We don't know what they are, but they were definitely not natural. They're standing up there right now. All we know is that they've been abandoned for who knows how long.
Right.
Long enough that lunar dust has covered all of it, and nobody seems to give a shit about any of this out there. what would the ultimate result be? Would it be a pandemonium among?
I think, honestly, because there's not a whole lot of people that pay attention to this stuff. I mean, there's more and more now just because of the advent of TikTok and Facebook or what. You can't keep any information in anymore. And that drives MSM insane, right? Because, I mean, we solve the whodunits a whole day news cycle before they come out with anything.
Well, there's a general distrust of the anchor sitting behind the desk.
Right.
You will trust some rando driving in his car
100%.
over that person
Yes.
any day.
So I think that the general consensus, though, amongst most people that aren't necessarily paying attention to this would be like, yeah, figured.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, really,
There would
I
be a
think it
big
would-
told you so.
Yeah, that would be coming from this guy for sure. But I think most people would be like, okay,
You don't think religions of the world would crumble and people would go into worldwide
I don't
panic?
think so. I don't
either. I don't. Yeah.
I really don't think, not now.
I mean, the Pope has even talked about.
Yeah,
Right.
you did.
But you know,
Otherworldly beings.
if you would have come out with this during the time of Galileo, you know, where he's like, I discovered the moon. No, you know what I mean. But and there were structures and they
could
had
see it, yeah.
proof that these were then it would have been earth-shattering back then. Now, with everything that we've seen and heard and looked at, I think most people would be like, okay.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
It's a Tuesday.
Right. It's right.
Well, and there's actually an example of that, and that's canals on Mars.
Right.
For the longest time, we believed that there were water canals built all over the surface of the planet.
Well, and the funny thing is, so then they come out not more than a month ago with life on Mars found because of those rings, those
Being
algae-ish
confirmed.
type rings. I don't think anybody was blown away by that.
No.
No one disproved it.
No one disproved. Nobody cared. I don't
the public
think.
opinion almost kind of went back and then forth because
Right.
we often believed, oh, there's Martians.
Right.
Before we had any chance to explore that. Then we explored, there's nobody there. Now it's kind of coming back around
Right.
where maybe there is somebody out there.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where they go to Mars.
Yes.
I think that was just a documentary of what actually happened.
There's something down there.
I actually brought up Quaddle the other day. And Grant was like, I don't know who that is. So I showed her a video and she's like, that's gross.
But in the movie,
amazing.
there's water underneath
Yes.
that they release, right?
Yep.
yeah, which
Frozen.
gives it an atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's all ice.
The idea that releasing this information to the public causing pandemonium, I think that has really started to get tampered down. Where, like Aaron said, I think a lot of people would just basically be,
I think most people now are like, just tell us already. Like the charade is getting so much harder to keep going that everybody's just like, here's a deal. Level with us and it'll be fine.
I think it's when you're turning like 10, 12, 11, 12, 13, and you're like, Santa Claus isn't real, but you kind of fake it for your parents.
right.
You're like, Mom, Dad, just tell me about Santa.
Right.
Same thing here.
But don't F with the tooth fairy.
I mean,
ever.
you have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I don't think the world would go into a panic. I don't think a lot of people would, do horrible things. I think at this point it's basically we've been keeping this secret for so damn long. We got to ride the lie, man.
Right.
Otherwise, they're going to realize that we have been pulling the wool over their eyes since 1940s. That they've known about the existence of aliens, that they've studied the aliens, and not only that, this is something that I brought up in Solar Warden episode, and that is if you're a foreign country and you learn that I've got alien technology, then it's out there.
Right.
And now you're going to actively pursue it in any way that you can. If I sit here and fake the funk and just keep telling you no and tell my own people no, plausible deniability in some situations, maybe some, obviously our own government doesn't realize this. Congress is having hearings and they're, trying to get a skiff, and somebody somewhere apparently has enough power to tell Congress you can't have a skiff.
Sorry.
love to meet who that individual is.
We have a lot of skiffs. Come on.
Yeah, there's some openings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but someone somewhere has the power to shut that down.
Oh yeah,
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
it's them.
Yep.
They're the
They.
ones.
They
In
have
in
that power.
2025, I think if aliens were announced and it wasn't like War of the Worlds, it wasn't Independence Day with shooting lasers and blowing up cities, I think most people would be pretty accepting, like, oh, well, duh.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, even if they haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it, they're kind of like, well, it just kind of makes sense. You know, it
Right.
seems logical.
And the
Not surprised.
Hollywood movies and all that stuff, it's been helping. I mean, we're so acclimated to aliens
Yeah, I think a
now.
lot of people just kind of expect that to be a thing.
Yeah.
Think about, from the time that the Wright brothers flew to the iPhone in your pocket,
Right.
there had to be some help along the way.
Yeah. After Area 51 crash.
And
Things
it's
did
quite
accelerate a
possible.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm just
And
saying.
For me, I've watched a couple interviews of the Congress members who have been privy to this information that's being put forward, and some of them are saying, yes, I definitely believe in aliens now, no matter what, that they've seen like a definitive proof. They can't talk about it. They can't talk about what that proof is or
Why?
anything like
That's
that.
the other side. Why?
Well, and again, you have to really explore an idea.
but if you
We humanize everything. We humanize our animals. We humanize. Good God, we humanize our vacuum cleaners. We want to do that because it creates a close relationship. Aliens are not going to be humanized. They're quite possibly a form of life that we can't even articulate into words to create an understanding of what they are.
Other people would call those gods.
Well, and we've got to
Right.
look at we know the physical world. We know very little bit about science, but we know enough to make ourselves quite dangerous. But we have a certain understanding of what the fabric of reality is.
do we?
Now, what
thought.
if a massive monkey wrench got thrown into that?
Right.
Where it's not even the idea that these things are coming from large, distances away, vast distances away. It's the idea that, like the Shadow Man episode that we were talking, they've always been here. They're always here. They're always with you. And they're not hiding dressed as a human being like you would see on TV. Okay.
Like the reptilians.
Once again, humanizing it. They're just there. And you don't see them within the spectrum. Nobody actually sees them.
Right.
They've always existed this way. They're a metaphysical, interdimensional being that we can't comprehend
I like
as
that
a human.
rather than the aliens from the one with Ripley, because those are absolutely
Xenomorph.
terrifying.
Totally.
I don't want them to look like that
Yeah,
kind of
me neither.
alien.
What did you pull up
So
here?
this is the Zeeman crater again. Now, the thing about this, I can
It's been blurred.
totally accept that. Okay, we had to stitch all these analog video images together by hand, and there's weird stuff because of that. But what's weird about the Zeeman crater is there's multiple instances where the artifact happens to be right in that spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's one here. You can see this is Zeeman crater. This is that little crater that's kind of overlapping it, and there's the mountain blurred out. Right. I mean, it's just
Looks
not
like an
visible.
igloo.
And it looks like there's something that didn't get blurred out right here that like got left behind.
Yes, okay, sure. It just coincidentally happened to line up in that spot for that artifact. But then here's the current Google Earth.
Blurred out.
What's going on here? This is that same mountain, right? I mean, there's stuff not visible there. And then here's the one that we were talking about where you've got the structure off there.
Yeah.
Right.
And not only is the structure there, but boy, howdy, did they make sure that whole face of that crater was.
Yep.
That
Go back to
face.
the blur, because somebody was like, hey, Mr. Manager, hey, look what I found in this photo. And he takes his mouse and he takes the blur tool and he's like, okay,
Yep, it's
looks
fine.
good.
You
Release
didn't
it.
see that.
Go back to the other one with the lava flow looking thing. Okay, so this goes back to, this is very Richard C. Hoagland Enterprise mission stuff, way back, the Sidoni region on Mars and the glass tubes, and then they did this whole thing on the moon. The reason the face doesn't look like the face on Mars is because we nuked it, because we couldn't have it up there, and that's why it looks like it does today. what if this
It was the
is
same
the same
situation.
thing?
Well, and this is the current Google Earth view. This is
And
the one you
that-
see now if you go to this area.
So where the structure was, well, we can't have that up there anymore, and we're getting tired of using the blur tool. Nuke it. Oh, look at all the melted metal that's left.
Right?
But a lot of people now have powerful telescopes at their house
Right.
that
That
can
could
see
see
this
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, not
So what
this
better
one.
way-
Not that. That's
Not
on
this
the
one.
other side of
Yeah,
the
this
moon.
one-
right,
that's
right.
true.
But see, things
That
like
is
that.
a powerful telescope.
Yeah. So this is the original blur. Now the original image is stretched a little bit because of the angle. This is actually how it would look if you matched it up with a straight down view. So that's just kind of looking, and this is what I think this is the Chinese current imaging that they have of that same area. Nothing really to see there. Nothing to see there. This is another view of it, kind of at an angle. Nothing to see there. Nothing to see there.
But
And
why
this
was it blurred out to begin
and
with?
this is where that huge structure should be, is like just to the right of that large shadow. That's where it should
That's
be.
just a cut and paste of like the other side of the crater.
Yeah.
They're like, just insert it here.
So obviously
Get
the
rid of it.
official explanation is, well, this is better imaging now. And we just, it was artifacts before. But, is it?
Why haven't we been back this whole time?
We lost the technology.
We were using the slide rule method. So, are you telling me we lost how to do slide rule?
Well, they got new math and
The whole world went to hell.
There is actually
Fuzzy math kill it all.
there is a logical explanation for that. What they mean by lost the technology is the F1 engines that powered the Saturn V were all built by hand. They all
Right.
required modifications and tweaks to get them to work properly. And because they were single-use vehicles and they were just getting it up to get it done, none of that stuff was documented, what they had to do to make them work. A lot of those people aren't around anymore. That technology is lost. We can't build
Right.
a working F1 engine today.
Write stuff down, NASA.
So, I'm going to tell you something very terrifying. Elon Musk, you're our only hope.
Yeah. I mean,
well, and even then, we've had this discussion in the past. Let's say I'm a private entity. I land on Mars. Who owns it?
Get your iPhone out.
I
take
do.
some photos.
Who owns it?
I get to. If I have a flag and
You
I
ever put
plant
that flag
it,
in there first? Yeah.
it's mine.
As an explorer who's gone above and beyond, what did they used to do back in the day?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going
Plant
to
a
claim
flag.
this in
Yeah.
the name of my queen.
I'm sure
or,
there's
or
some
whatever.
treaties or something.
So this is interesting because I actually used to have a business with a buddy of mine. It was called Out of This World Outfitters. Because there was a guy that claimed to own the moon and he would sell you parcels of the moon. So we, instead of doing that, claimed like you could go, sand surfing on Mars. You could go ice fishing on Europa, things like that. And you get a little certificate, blah, 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 whatever. The moon is actually owned by everybody.
I think that was a treaty long ago.
A long,
wasn't it?
long,
Yeah.
long time ago. But the moon is the only thing. There is no other international treaties for like Mars or Neptune or so.
and does that cover if you build something on the moon?
See, that's the thing because like then it would be NASA's, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly,
Like everybody
Mars,
doesn't own what
'cause-
gets built there. They just own the soil it's built on.
right.
Well, then, so again, this is something that we talked about in a previous show. But if I'm a private entity and I land on Mars and I just decide I'm just going to relocate my entire operation there, am I now the governing body of Mars?
Yep.
That's it. I don't have to obey any international law.
You can make up whatever you want.
You are king of that castle. So I think to an extent we have to take pause before we just rally behind a capitalist private entity to get us from one location to another. Yeah. Because look, and the only reason I bring that up is because traditionally they take care of one thing themselves. They don't care about anything else.
I totally.
But
would.
as humans, because who we are, like we're a warring tribe pretty much. Who is going to be is the first person going to be shot at on the moon or Mars? So we have like say US here, China here. When are they going to start warring on a different planet?
Unfortunately,
over territory.
Over territory.
And that's the thing is like, the hope is that by the time we're able to actually do that, there's so much out there. Do you really need that 4 meter square
There's so much here on Earth.
Yeah, right.
And we still go after each other.
And we do, unfortunately. But like if mankind is ever able to just get off the planet and go somewhere else and maybe even leave the solar system,
That should be an international mission.
I believe it should.
At some point, it'll get to the point that we've all experienced where they're like, so, Martian? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, originally? yeah. No, you're a transplant. Sorry.
I was born here on Mars. I'll die here on Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Original Martian? Oh, okay.
Oh, you're from California.
Yeah, you're a
on Earth.
Californian Martian.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of weird things if we ever get to that point of like, how do you determine someone's age on Mars?
Right.
Like, how many years old are they?
Our time system is going to have to be a universal time system.
And it's
probably based on Earth.
Based on Earth for
Sorry,
no reason.
mate. It was on Martian time.
I mean, the days on Mars, like
Yeah.
the work schedules.
Yeah.
Well, all
and
that
once
stuff is
again,
different.
even though the gravity might not be that different, it's still different. And there are going to be changes. And some of these changes, I didn't even think about until I started looking into like conspiracy theories and what astronauts have to deal with. Pooping in zero gravity is a different experience. Eating, drinking, doing basic human things.
Brushing your teeth.
It's all a different experience. And
Digestion works differently.
exactly.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Because we evolved on Earth, your food stays where it's at because of gravity.
Humans kind of have to stay on Earth for a while.
And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's not going to be us that conquers the universe. It's going to be our artificial intelligence.
ChatGPT.
Which is horrifying.
But is that who
But is
visits us? Is that the aliens that are going to visit us or are already here? Are they artificial intelligence? That's kind of what we talked about before.
We got to ask our same question. Yeah. Has it been done? And we're seeing the result of that. Are the Greys nothing more than biological AI? What we see as technology, an alien could look at and be like, wow, that's great that you guys use this metal that you dug from the ground to do that. That's crazy.
But
I think went ahead and mutated this little gray monster that I found.
I thought about it, and there it was.
I mean, they could do something so unusual that we just don't get it. They could have technology that takes certain gases and, suddenly makes like a solid matter out of it. We don't know.
see, how soon was it? They wanted a refinement and some kind of like nuclear base operation on Mars. What was it, like the next 20 something
couple
years?
decades, I think, yeah.
My thing is, Godspeed on that situation, because when I was a little kid, we were supposed to be there, visiting, hanging out by 1995.
Where's my flying car?
Where's
That's the new Disney World.
Where's my hoverboard, man? You know, and if it takes, taking money from these billionaires because, hey, I want to go to the moon and hang out there for a week. Awesome.
Do it.
$250 million and you get a week's vacation up there. Well, now we're going to use that money to fund even further projects or to sustain this station, maybe even expand it out a little bit. Sure, I say go for it.
We'll name a crater after you.
There you go. There's plenty of them up there to do, right? But people would want to do that. And they may pay handsomely to get it done. And then you just use that money to fund further exploration. But I just think AI is really the only way we're going to be able to do anything like this.
Well, as flawed as AI is, we're screwed.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's the thing.
Hallucinations.
The AI that you have access to is completely flawed. And there's AIs out there that, look,
That aren't dumbed down.
Yeah, we can all sit here and talk about whatever we want, but we know the truth. There's government AIs. There's got to be government AIs that surpass anything that you can even conceive right now. Even back when I was having conversations with various individuals, they would say things like, man, when it comes to communication, you see Star Wars, you see Star Trek, and you think, wow, that's super advanced. We're so far beyond that garbage. In 2002, I had an instructor come in the room with a digital newspaper. It looked like a manila folder,
Oh yeah.
but it was clear. He could open it up and it would show you the page of the newspaper, and then you'd clap them together and then it would show it again. He's like, wave of the future. This is going to be it. And then the touch phone came out, and everybody who was working on that suddenly had to give up their job and go work on something else, because now that's null and void. Why would I carry that around when I got a cell phone in my pocket? I'm thinking that all these pursuits in technology have been surpassed so many different times that you might have Team A over here working on this, but Team B, who was trying to solve a completely different problem, surpassed Team A's entire project.
Yeah.
And I think we've managed to do that to ourselves over and over and over, to the point where we honestly don't know the level of technology that we have.
We don't, but it kind of ties back into this is when these photos were taken, there was no AI. So those obelisks, the factory, those things were there. Because you show me a picture today, like if we had just gotten to the moon and you're like, look at this, I'd be like, I don't believe it.
But why don't we
same
have
thing with
rovers
Mars.
on the moon?
Why don't we have more stuff everywhere?
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, if we want to know about these things, we could easily drop something next to the shard or the tower or the and totally have answers within a year.
But we don't, because we already have the answer.
Well,
It's just a shadow.
Right.
It's blurred out.
It's just blurred. It's
Yeah,
fine.
It's just an artifact of the stitching of the photos.
Yeah.
You know, I really believe that the U.S. government at certain levels have already had these conversations with whatever entities these are, and the entities were like, "Look, here's the truth, and just don't go back.
Right.
There's nothing up there."
Nothing
right.
to see here,
So,
folks.
so with that, do you think, we'll go around here, do you think that structures on the moon are alien in nature or not?
I do.
You do?
I absolutely do. Yes.
No, I don't.
No.
I thought we had you for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm back, baby.
Your last line had me. I'm going to say yes, I think they are.
It goes without saying.
We don't even.
I mean, it's 100% yes.
If you want the truth, Aaron's looking at the UFO people going, "You guys don't believe enough."
Right. 100%. No, I think there's too many anomalous structures, too many weird spires, too many, we didn't even get to the silica domes. There's a lot of stuff up there that you're just going, okay, one thing, sure.
Right.
One thing, yeah, it's weird. But
face,
it's
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Just a weird play on the shadows, yeah.
But all of a sudden, I mean, it just starts piling up. And pretty soon you can't just be like, wow, those are just all tricks of photography.
All 2,000 of those are just...
It's fine. Don't worry about it. So that's the problem. When it's more than one, and then when it's hundreds or thousands, you go, okay.
And NASA has taken the time
To blur them out.
to blur out this, that, and this, and you're like, why all of them, man?
Right.
I think the whole moon's got to be an alien spaceship. How astronomical is it for the Earth to have the sun over here and then to sit in the shadow of the moon
And have them be the same.
perfectly and have them be the same?
Yeah.
It was parked there a long time
Go
ago.
back and watch the Spaceship Moon episode.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, and like, we talked about prison planet theory, where that's the watchtower.
Yep.
That's
Oh, they're trying to escape again.
Yep. Look at them with their little sticks with fire. That's cute. But I mean, we don't know. It could be. We are a very violent race. What if the rest of the universe was like, we're going to take this violent race, we're going to throw them on that blue ball, the one, way out there, way out there in the solar
We're
system.
going to leave them be.
We'll just put them there. We'll stick a moon out there. We'll watch them. They'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, we don't know. That could be a real thing. I think their structures.
It's just the prison guard tower, that really tall one. They're like, yeah, they're still there.
I like to picture some alien in there sipping on coffee, his feet up on the desk, like he's just like, I've been here for 4 billion years.
Yeah.
I need to get out of here, man.
Need a vacation.
Same tuna salad every damn day.
Yep, 100% real.
All right. Well, I think they're real. I just honestly think that they were abandoned. I don't think there's any activity up there. And if there is, then it's in a place that I can't see. You know, it's not like my naked eye would be able to see anything anyway. But I have stood out as a little kid and stared up at that thing for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Just wondering and wanting and wishing, you know. But the moon is real. That I can guarantee.
It's just what kind of real?
So do us a favor, hit all those fun buttons.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything.
Help us out and leave us a comment. What do you think about the structures on the moon? Are they alien? Are they just geological structures that happen naturally? If so, maybe you know how. Maybe you found a piece of information. Let us know. You've been watching Jackalopes Explore.
Perfect.